Well, good morning, everyone. Once again, hope you're having a great start to your week. To my American friends and audience, well, yesterday was July 4th, so happy Independence Day. One day late. Good morning, Rosa, Michael, Nick from our staff, and Rosalinda, and John. John, happy Independence Day. One day late. Good morning, Madeleine. How are you? And Annette from Nouveau Brunswick. And Debbie. And Kevin. Good morning, Kevin. I saw your testimony, Kevin, on the reset. Good for you. Happy to see it. Folks, don't be shy. Helena, Micheline, Jeanette from our staff. Don't be shy to put your testimony up there. Okay, post it on our private Facebook group. Maria and another Debbie from Quebec. Kim this morning from Timmins, Beverly, Newfoundland. Susan from Florida. Marcin, good morning to you. Doretta, nice to have you on, Doretta. Judy, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Wendy, good morning to you. Bonjour, Chantal from Ottawa. And, our Chantal is on from our staff this morning. Good to have you on, Chantal. And from Nova Scotia. Oh, beautiful Nova Scotia. Okay, Angelina, Doc. How are you? How are you? Nice to have you on, Doc. From Tennessee, Shelley and Christy and Lorraine. Okay, let's get going. Elise, bon matin. Okay? One of these times I am going to do a program in French. Nicole, bonjour from Quebec. We got a lot of Quebecers, and even out, of course, into New Brunswick, and a lot of them. And one day I'll do it in French, okay? Tracy, good morning. Annette and Nicole from Saudi Arabia. Wow. It's probably late in the day there, isn't it? Good morning. And Eli. Irene. Okay. I'll come on and say hi to you, okay? Okay. Nice to have you on. I'm going to talk about two studies that came out that I saw on the weekend, and probably no one else, I don't know, would even mention these because they're a little bit different, and people wouldn't maybe flag them, or at least doctors wouldn't. I kind of liked it because, okay, this is, now I got to tell you first, okay, just before I read to you the results of the study, okay? Laughter is merry medicine. Now, where's that found? Do you know? It's in the Bible. Laughter is merry medicine. So Solomon, what, 4,000 years ago, wrote that laughter is merry medicine. Okay, it's found in Proverbs chapter 17, I believe, verse 22. And you know what? Isn't that true? Laughter is merry medicine. You know, for some of you, okay, not, and I mean it. You guys are unbelievable. You put up with my shenanigans on a daily basis, but a few of you have said they don't like my humor. Okay, I'm sorry. Laughter is merry medicine, okay? Laughter is merry medicine. It's not that I don't take life seriously. Of course I do. And I was sort of joshing this morning with Jeanette because she sent me an email, and this guy was all uptight about me because I wasn't, giving him enough information. And like I said, look, Jeanette, not everybody's going to be thrilled. Not everybody is going to, we got over 2 million views just on Facebook. Never mind our podcast, okay? So, look, you're not going to please everyone. I understand that. And for the most part, I think people obviously enjoy podcasts, and they enjoy my personality and methods. I'm sure I rub some people the wrong way, and I don't mean to. But you know what I learned a long time ago in my life personally is to laugh at myself. And when you get married, okay, 48 years ago for me, you better learn to laugh. I'm sure my wife had to learn to laugh because, oh, look at the guy I married, And, but when you learn to laugh at yourself, don't take yourself so seriously. Look, everyone has a different fingerprint and everyone has a different personality. I get that. But I don't know if it's because we had such a big family, but boy, you had to develop, my expression that I came out with maybe a few weeks ago. God, give me a tender heart and a thick hide. I want to have a tender heart towards people and a thick hide so I can take criticism and laugh at myself because, if you don't laugh at yourself, other people are going to. My grandchildren, Grandpa, you're a dinosaur. I like hearing that, I laugh at myself. I am a dinosaur. I understand that. But anyway, listen, okay, so now we've established that laughter is merry medicine according to the Bible, but listen to this. This is a new study, okay, out that laughter is merry medicine. You know why? You know why? Two things that they're showing. Two things that laughter does. One, it increases your immune system. You know why? Like vitamin D, it supercharges your T cells. Now remember, your T cells are your Navy SEALs. They're your natural killer cells. They see a virus, they see a bacteria, they see a cancer cell, and the Navy SEALs are the first ones out. They're the first ones out. And they are kamikaze pilots, and they go right after and destroy bacteria, viruses, and that. Listen. When you laugh, I got one of my grandsons. I says, "Are you happy?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Well, then tell your face." Okay, it's just his personality, and he's a beautiful young guy. And I just say, "Well, yeah, but tell your face, tell your face. Laugh and learn to laugh at yourself." I know I'm weird. Okay, I laugh at myself. Okay? No, but listen, isn't that exciting? Think about this for a minute, okay? Now, when you laugh, and I think I might have to give it a vitamin. A vitamin category at the Martin Clinic. Vitamin L. Laugh. It increases your immune system. Isn't that interesting? How your body operates. Laughter is merry medicine. written 4,000 years ago. Number two, this is the second thing, according to the study, obviously it affects chemical changes in your brain. That buffer, okay, I'm just going to read the study, that buffer our bodies against the cumulative effects of stress. Stress elevates your cortisol. Cortisol pours gasoline. It pours gasoline on inflammation. Now remember, let's go back a little bit so that you follow what I'm going to say here. High circulating insulin, leaky gut, mean your microbiome, and free radical damage are the three seeds of disease. If you follow a graph, so you got those three things and follow a graph, high circulating insulin or insulin resistance, food, leaky gut, and oxidative damage, free radical damage, AGE, glycation, they're all part of that third category. They are the seeds of disease. Then, step two, it creates inflammation. So when you read that inflammation is at the root of all disease, well, just about, but you have to come a step backwards, okay? So you guys know that. Three seeds of disease creates inflammation inside the body. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute, so remind me not to forget, okay? Inflammation destroys, the first thing, what does inflammation destroy in your body? What does it do? It destroys circulation, microcirculation, and your little endothelial levels of your blood vessels. That's what inflammation starts to destroy, but it destroys more than that. It's very destructive. You don't see it. It's inside your body. You don't see it. I'm not talking about pain, although that could be a factor, but inflammation is often silent. You think of inflammation after an injury or you got pain, and yeah, but this is the silent one that's circulating through your body and is damaging blood vessels and that. It ain't cholesterol. It's inflammation. But again, you got to come back. But what pours gasoline on inflammation is cortisol, stress. Stress. And what laughter does, according to this study, not only increases your T cell activity, your Navy SEALs, which you want to do, but it also mitigates. It helps to decrease the effects of cortisol, meaning inflammation, on specifically the brain. The brain. Isn't that interesting? Doesn't that want to make you laugh? No, but seriously. Well, unseriously. Now, listen, guys. Laughter is merry medicine. Now, I want to get to the second thing I was going to talk to you about today, because they're connected. Because we're talking about physiology, how your body operates, and we're finding out that you have another potential vitamin L, laughter. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? I like that. Okay? Now, this is another study this came out in the experimental gerontology. You know what gerontology is? The study of old people. Okay? Now, I flagged it for this. When they can check, according to the Experimental Gerontology magazine, published, this study was published in the Experimental Gerontology, that they can measure, this is fascinating to me. One way you can measure inflammation. Now, guys, fill in the blank for me here, because remember, I'm always trying to teach you, okay? I want to teach you so that you think, okay? So when you, what is one of the ways in a blood test that you can measure inflammation, okay? What is it? You guys know this. What's the test that I like? Annette, you're the first one up. CRP, C-reactive protein. Yes, it can tell you that test. By the way, what should the number be? Okay, what is Dr. Martin looking for? I'm not looking for normal. I'm looking for better than normal when it comes to CRP, inflammation. I want it under 1. Under 1. 1 is still normal, but you have inflammation. 2 is still normal, but you have inflammation. 3 is starting to get high, but now you have a lot of inflammation. Because inflammation is very silent. So CRP, yes. Now listen to this, okay? This study in the Experimental Gerontology, I think you will find it interesting. One way to measure to see if you have inflammation silent is to check your hand grip strength. Isn't that something? Think about this for a minute. When your hand grip strength isn't very good, especially as you get older, you have a silent inflammation going on in your body according to Experimental Gerontology. They found it to be every bit as accurate as the CRP test, C-reactive protein. You can hardly get a doctor to do C-reactive protein. They just don't like doing it. But isn't that something, guys? And you know, I bring this back to vitamin E, okay? So we learned about vitamin L this morning. I want to bring you to the true vitamin E, and that is exercise. What lowers inflammation generally in the body is you getting strong. You getting strong. Now, there was a study, this is a few years ago. I'd have to go look it up. I can hardly remember it exactly where it came from. But they showed, you know, if you put a person on the floor and you can tell a lot about where they're at physically and what their future is going to be like if they can't get themselves off the floor without help. Now, I'll tell you, that's not as easy. It's not as easy as you think. Well, anybody that's my age will understand that. Not easy to get yourself off the floor without a chair or whatever. Just get yourself up. So that was a measurement, but they weren't measuring inflammation. This hand grip, just your hand grip. You have trouble opening a jar. You got inflammation in your body, according to this study. It's interesting, isn't it? And the other day I brought to you, let me just see if I can find it again. Where is it now? I wanted to talk to you about Hold on here on the brain. I talked to you about vitamin D and schizophrenia, but oh, here. 50% of the population over the age of 75 are 2 times more likely to develop dementia. Half. And of course, I will talk to you till I'm blue in the face about metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is insulin. It's food. It's not anything else. It's food. So when you see someone with dementia, the research is overwhelming. It's like a type 3 diabetes, and now they're not talking about that anymore. They were. You go back 10, 15 years ago, that's what they called it. Dementia, Alzheimer's, type 3 diabetes. And I don't want to talk about that anymore. Because, and I hate to be negative, but medicine is looking for love in all the wrong places. It's looking for a med. And they've been colossal failures in dementia. It's not medication you're missing. Medication it's been a colossal failure. I talked to you a few weeks back about the FDA approving a drug for Alzheimer's when they had no business approving it. Everybody on their committee said no, except one person. They said, nah, it doesn't work. Why are you approving it? And the FDA approved it. Because medicine is screaming for a medication. They don't want to do the hard work of telling people, stop eating crappy, ultra-processed sugars and carbohydrates. The food industry is massive. From Kraft to Kellogg's to Unilever and Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola. They own the world in terms of food. And they don't want you, they don't want you to stop eating their cereals. But it's at the root of that. It's at the root of it. Food is something you can control. You can't control everything in life. You can't control your genetics. If you've got bad genetics, you can't control that, but you can override it. I can't help that I look like my father. And by the way, today, 16 years ago, my father passed away. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about my papa, my dad. When I look in the mirror, I see his face. Wow. He didn't call me Tony Jr. for nothing. And then I called my son Tony Jr. Jr. Tony the Third. Okay? No, but seriously, guys, it ain't rocket science. The things that you can control. You can't control everything in life. You can't control the bus if you cross the street and it happens to hit. Come on. You can't control all of that. You can't control somebody else's driving. You can only control what you can control. This is why I preach and I preach and I preach on self-discipline. Self-discipline. And you're never going to get strong, vitamin E, without doing vitamin E. It's not going to happen by osmosis, guys. I'm going to read a book on exercise. Okay. You better implement it. And I'm dead serious about this, guys. I tell you, you need sun, steak, and steel And I don't care how old you are. 80, I don't care. It's amazing how your body has an ability to regenerate, to strengthen itself. But it's not going to happen by talking about it. You know, like, I think whenever I look at anybody's blood work, if they got any issue, I tell them, well, start with the reset. 30 days. Reset that body. Take away the inflammation. Because you're going to take away the insulin. You're going to help to heal leaky gut. You're going to reduce your free radical damage. All in 30 days. You're going to empty your liver. Your pancreas is going on a holiday. And your hormones are going to get better. But you start with food. And then implement vitamin E, exercise. And do the right exercise, in my opinion. Now, again, anything, remember, any movement is going to be good for you. Any movement. You like biking? Good for you. You like walking? Good for you. Okay? You like swimming? Somebody asked me about that the other day. Hey, good for you. I love it. But you want to be strong. It's not, aerobics, I'm not against it, but it's overrated compared to, I don't want you spending an hour on your treadmill. When you don't need to do that, you need to get strong. So do 15, 20 minutes. It's going to be not easy necessarily to start. Do steel, man. Do some resistant exercises. 15 to 20 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. And you're doing what I know is the best exercise for you. Okay? Now, like I said, I like the rebounder. I like all that. But don't just do that. That's good for you. Tremendous for your lymphatics and drainage. I like that. I saw my next door neighbor doing the mini trampoline or the rebounder outside yesterday. And I said, well, good for you, man. That's so good for you. It is. But there's nothing that's going to beat those weights. Resistance. You can get bands. So good for you. Get strong, man. Get strong. Because it affects your brain. It affects your heart. It affects inflammation. I mean, think of that grip strength. Just grip strength is a real indicator of whether you have inflammation in your body. And inflammation is deadly. It's deadly. Left to its own, it's not good. It destroys. Okay? Okay, so the 2 takeaways today. Laugh. Laugh. Vitamin L. Are we going to make it official, guys? Do we make it official? Maybe. I think we should, eh? Vitamin L, laughter. Okay? And remember, learn to laugh at yourself. You're unique. You're not weird. I don't say that word anymore. Okay? I don't call you weird. You're just unique. But unique with a laughter a little bit, okay? You know how I am, how I operate, okay? So guys, listen, laughter is merry medicine, and just checking your strength of your grip will tell you, imagine, it's like CRP, C-reactive protein. It will tell you whether you have inflammation or not. So when you see someone that's frail and they're having trouble lifting themselves out of a chair, they have a condition going on. They might have more than one, of course. But the bottom line is they got inflammation in their body. It's a great indicator. It's a great indicator. Okay? Now, I got some great stuff coming this week again, okay? And I'm looking forward to those, okay? So, now, little housekeeping. Again, to my American audience, a day late, but of course we weren't doing podcasts on July 4th, but July 5th will do, right? We tell you we love you, okay? And happy Independence Day to you guys, okay? In Canada, we had July 1st, and I was on, which is Canada Day, okay? We celebrate these two great countries that we live in. Yeah, we're thankful, right? Sometimes we complain, but let's face it, these are wonderful countries, and we're, when you compare to a lot of other places in the world, we're pretty thankful, or at least we should be. Secondly, the private Facebook group, please get your friends, get your family, enjoy the private Facebook group. We love it. A lot of good posts up there, and the communication between our members is tremendous, okay? Thank you for that. The reset, the book. Thank you again. Okay. But I don't apologize for pushing the book. Okay. Because I'm telling you that reset is unbelievable how good it is for you. It's the way to start. And I know many of you started July 1st doing the reset again. Okay, or for the first time. When you're doing the reset, please let us know on the private Facebook group. We're going to pump your tires up. You have questions. If you get discouraged, get on the group. We'll pump your tires up, okay, and push you to the finish line. Okay, that's what we're here for. We're here to help. Okay, we love you guys. And we will talk to you soon.